All right, the red light tells us what we always want to know, and that is that we are live.
Woo-hoo.
Coming at you from 3 different states, states of mind and states of being. It is Modern Day
Confusion.
Alchemist. Hey, quit interrupting me, man. I'm trying to do an intro here.
Now I'm going to interrupt you all the more.
Modern Day Alchemists, episode 28, even though it says 27 in the title, because I'm Joe. And today, I'm so happy to be here as usual with these 2 beautiful people and also my co-hosts, Stevo Hays and Kristen Brown. So for those who are tuning in for the very first time, first of all, I just want to say thank you that you're spending your time, energy, effort to be here, which actually that says a lot of good things about you. Those who have tuned in either live or after the fact, that means that you have prioritized yourself, because really what we're talking about is how to grow, how to learn, how to manage the chaos that is in our lives. That's what we're here for. So kudos to you and those that you share it with, that you actually invest in yourself. But before we get into today's topic, which I think is very timely, I would like each of my beautiful co-hosts to introduce themselves and let people know who you are, where you're hailing from, and a little bit about you. Kristen, please.
Hello, I am Kristen Brown. I am hailing from Phoenix, Arizona, and I am a spiritual and empowerment author, mentor, and healer.
Yes, you are. And you have a best-selling book that you never talk about.
Woohoo!
He always makes me show my book. Here we go. There it is, The Recovering People Pleaser, a spiritual guide to reclaim your true worth and attract the love you deserve. And this is available on Amazon if anybody's interested, and I will put the link down here in the show comments.
And Kristen does not brag. Obviously, often she forgets to even bring her book up, but I make her do it. But she was an international #1 best-selling author within an hour of going live, 2 hours of going live.
Yeah.
So that is absolutely incredible, and we are honored and privileged to have Kristen, not just her book, but her perspective here. And by the way, if you haven't read Kristen's book, I highly recommend it. It's not just great ideas, it's Kristen's life and love coming right through the pages. So congratulations, Kristen. That's so awesome. You are awesome.
Thank you. Someone said to me once, you tell all your embarrassing stories. I said, I sure do.
Yeah. But just think of how powerful that is, Kristen. And we won't get into this right now, but I know from my own experience as well that when you are comfortable with your most embarrassing stories, that's a sign of healing there, right? That's a sign of wholeness. So
good point.
Just kudos to you, all that you've gone through to make that happen and to produce a book, which is no small feat. Actually, your second book, for those who want to know. All right, Stevo Hays, please introduce yourselves to the crowd.
I'm just Steve.
Just Steve.
And I'm a messenger who's here to help. I'm also a happypreneur. I'm a messenger. I'm here to help. And that's an acronym for here to bring healing, encouragement, make you laugh, make you ponder. And I'm a happypreneur, finding creative ways to up your happy level. Where I'm here to navigate, activate, and advocate your happy life. So there's a lot of ways that we do that. Podcast, live speaking, life coaching. And we're hailing all the way from We're hailing all the way from the Pacific Northwest here at Happy Life Studios. And we're so pumped that you guys have joined us today.
Yeah. So Steve says he's here to up your happy. That's a great way to put it. Let's up your happy, brother. All right. So thank you, Cecilia Grace, already for tuning in and putting some great comments in the chat. We invite anybody and everybody who's tuned in to participate in the chat if you wish. Some of the comments will show up on the broadcast and some will not. And that has nothing to do with anything other than just me being able to pay attention to all this at the same time.
Right. So, and you do a good job, by the way. You really do.
You do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And Modern Day Alchemists has been, this is kind of a second iteration of Modern Day Alchemists, but we've really been digging into this idea of self-transformation and that we're all on a journey, whether or not you're doing it intentionally or unintentionally. Life is a journey and it brings all sorts of challenges and rewards and excitement and crap, and it kind of throws it at you and you decide what's going to stick and what are you going to do with that. And today in particular, I just love this topic because here we are on December 1st and the timing is perfect. We have transitioned through Thanksgiving, which often gets overlooked, but we made a big deal about Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving last week. And now that fast, furious march into the holidays, Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, all those New Year's things that are coming down. And as happens every year, right, there is this anticipation, right? The holidays are coming. I can see it in my daughters, 16 and 14. They just love Christmas and they can't wait for Christmas. And when are we going to do this for Christmas? And here's my Christmas shopping list. And when are you going to put up the tree? And when are you going to put on the lights? And I mean, all the stuff, right? And as a dad, it's great because I get to provide for my kids what was provided for me. But there is also what I would call the dark side of Christmas and the Christmas season. And that is this set of expectations, right? Every time Christmas comes around, there's a narrative going on through the songs and through the messaging and through the advertising and in our own head that says Christmas should be somewhat idyllic. It should be Norman Rockwell, and so there's this hope, and I love hope. I think hope is powerful, but hope can also set us up for disappointment if our expectations are that this Christmas things are going to be better. They're going to be perfect. Nobody's going to fight. Everybody's going to make it home. The gifts are going to be what I want. I mean, all this sense of anticipation, expectation. And as we know statistically, Christmas season can be really hard on a lot of people. In fact, statistically, suicides, depression, a lot of the really mental illnesses, they spike during the holidays for, I think, one of many reasons is this set of anticipation and expectation that we can't live up to, or that our family doesn't live up to, or that the world doesn't live up to, or that God doesn't live up to. And so then that depression sets in because, here we go again. Everybody's having a great, happy Christmas, and my life sucks. And that's kind of the narrative that goes on in our heads.
Yeah.
So Stephen and Kristen and I all want to talk from our own experience and from our education, from the insights that we get from God directly, right? And how do we navigate the holidays, which can really become HoliDAZE, DAZE, where we're just at some point you're like, I can't wait for this to be done. It's too much. It's too stressful. It's too overwhelming. I don't have any money. I can't do what everybody else expects of me. All these crazy things that go on. And so we want to talk through the actual what's happening inside of us and around us. And then how do we navigate that in a way that's healthy and sustainable and actually pleasant and maybe even joyful, right? If we do it all to get through the holidays, not just unscathed, but actually maybe look back and say that was pretty good. And I'm so grateful for what just happened. So I don't have an agenda here. I don't have a bullet points. We didn't make notes before we met, but I know we all have stories to tell. And so one of the two of you just jump in and just talk about the angst that happens. In addition to the anticipation, there's an angst that's growing inside of you in the holidays. Is that true? And if so, what's that look like for you?
Well, and I think that you alluded to it. And the thing I don't know if I would even call it a pet peeve. That's kind of a strong word. But I mean, if you don't believe in God and you just follow the Santa line, I doubt very highly that Santa would love it at the end of the season if we go, wow, Santa, I'm glad that's over. If you believe in God and that God, it's an incredible story. Santa's an incredible story too, right? But God sending his own son to earth as a baby child in the hands of a teenage girl, which at that time was not high on the food scale, if you know what I mean. Not high on the ladder. I mean, right. Everything about him was humble, and we love it's like Ricky Bobby says in Talladega Nights, everybody loves the baby Jesus because we love that warm, that caring, that God would become a human, become a baby, it's such a warm story. But if you believe in God, then you're celebrating Christmas also means the birth of Jesus, right? And I don't know about you, but if someone gets done on my birthday and all I hear is, I'm glad that's over, don't come to my party. I mean, I've done something wrong in my party if all of a sudden you're still on my birthday and you get to that end of, and that's I guess that kind of bothers me a little bit, is that I think we're doing it wrong. The holidays are meant to be enjoyed, and we tend to enjoy them because we always make memories bigger than, I'll talk more about that later on. But when we look back, we make them bigger today than they were at that moment. You know, at that moment, we didn't realize that it was going to be such a grand, fantastic, thing. But I think a lot of it has to do with the expectations. But we've got to. I think we got to really. I'm glad we're doing this on December 1st. You could tell I got a bunch of thoughts in my brain.
Slow down. Slow down.
We're doing this. Yeah, that's a word for me. I'm glad we're doing this on December 1st because we need to be proactive if we're going to keep the days, that DAZE, out of our holidays, DAYS. My goal is every year to get through it, and number one, not only to not say I'm glad that's over, but to sit back and go, I might be tired, right? But go, man, What a great holiday. I'm ready for that to happen again, 364 more days, you know? And I that to me, that's kind of a thing that gets in my craw. I think we need to aim at when we get to the end of something that's supposed to be so powerful and celebrated, and then we say, boy, I'm glad that's over. I think we're doing it wrong. And I think we just need to change a few things to fix that.
Right.
I do. I'm going to jump in there.
Please.
When you see on all the holiday cards and everywhere, it's peace, joy, and love, right? That's what the season is supposed to be about. But yet many people are so bustling with the materialism of the thing and what it means and the gifts and the parties and showing up with the right dress and outfit and making the correct meal and all of these type of things that the whole purpose of the season is lost.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I've learned is that I need to get really, really present with what's happening. And being that I spend a lot of my holidays as a single mother doing all this by myself and working full time. So we're talking gifts and wrapping and hiding things and, you know, trying to keep organized. So I was out of necessity, I was forced to get really super organized, but it was the best thing that I could have ever done for myself. So I started making lists. And I have a Christmas list of who I'm buying for. And then I have a list of what people can buy for me because they want. And this year I even started something more simpler for the family because everybody gives their list to everybody. So everybody has the same list. And I decided to, first of all, I make a list of things I need to do. Okay. These are things I need to do. And then I prioritize the order of those things. And I don't get ahead of myself, but I also give myself grace if something doesn't get done. So if I forgot the cranberries, oh, well, it's okay. You know, so I think we have to really implement this peace, love, and joy into the season that it's not supposed to be perfect.
Right.
But back to listings, right?
Yeah,
doesn't have to be perfect. Right.
Yeah, but keep going. I just want to jump in real quick. Yeah.
But back to the list thing, I just wanted to be sure to throw this in here. So I'm going to throw it right from the beginning. It's if you are buying for a lot of people and a lot of people are buying for those people too, I came up with this year to make a Google document with people's lists. Wow. And I share it with everybody but the person. And I make it editable. So now people can just go in and delete. If they buy something, they just delete it. And whatever's left, you know, first come, first serve. So whatever's left. So things like that is just get really innovative and creative because the juggle is real. Juggling even just the receipts, you know. So I'd have an envelope in my purse that said Christmas receipts. And every receipt went in there. And it sounds like I'm really anal. That's not it. It was that I had to be, or else I was going to get even more stressed because now this doesn't fit or someone already has that. Now I got to go find the receipt. And it was just too much. So I really tried to get simple because I was being like, glad that's over. Let's take the tree down on Christmas Day. You know, I was just like too much. And I didn't want that anymore because I was losing the substance of the season.
Yeah.
I love that, Kristen.
Kristen stole a line right from a Santa Claus song. She says she's making a list and she's checking it twice, right?
Putting it in Google Docs.
Put it in Google Docs. That's modern day Santa right there. I love that. But, you know, so I'm not a list guy. And my wife will tell you that probably in the first 5 minutes you meet her, you know, because she's a planner and I'm just an enjoy the moment type of guy. But I do really like what you say, that it's not an anal retentive thing. It is an organizational thing that actually can de-stress your life, right? Because what I've understood, even though I'm list averse, I think I have like an allergy to it or something, but that lists actually take the angst out of, can I remember the list in my head? Because I put it on a page or I put it on paper, and then I don't have to like, okay, what did I forget and whose list was what? And they start to get mixed up and jumbled in my head because the honest truth of what we've talked about already in this podcast is that the holidays, they come with lots of joy and love and peace, but they also come with a whole bunch of stuff you got to do or you feel like you got to do for a whole lot of people. Yeah, extra stuff. Yeah, and a lot of that's rooted in, I want to make Christmas great for my kids. I want to give gifts to my family. I want to make the holidays beautiful, but that's all in addition to all the stuff that life already requires of me.
Right.
So it's inevitable that we're going to feel stressed out about that. So what a simple and helpful tip from Santa Claus and from Kristen Brown to take your list, put it down somewhere and make it editable. And maybe Google Docs is such a great place because you can edit it on the fly. you're in the store, you're in the bathroom, you're somewhere else, you can actually pull it up and change it. And then you don't have to remember it, because we have a lot of stuff to remember during the holidays.
Another thing I do with a list too that helps me is having that list. I use Evernote, but I think I'm going to switch to Google, because I like that you can share with other people. But like throughout the year, I might see something and go, oh my word, I need to remember to buy that for my son for Christmas.
Yes.
But my memory just sucks. I got so many things going on in my brain that I don't. Well, now the list, when I see something or my wife spots something and I hear her go, ooh, I like that, and it's in July, whatever, right? I just go to my phone and I just type in on the list. So then I'm keeping a list all year long if something rises up, and it does make things easier. I'm not much of a list guy myself. I'm like Joe, but having a list there, it definitely makes it easier for sure.
That's a good husband thing too, by the way. I'm just going to say, I just need to pat you on the back for that.
I tell you what, at one point in my life, I learned that. I had to learn that, because at one point in my life, when you date, your wife's size, everything about her. Then you get married, and marriage turns into an institution. And at one point, I realized I wanted to make a goal that I could shop for my wife, that I knew what sizes she liked, what colors she liked, because I'm like, I need to pay attention to the favorite person in my life. And so I've had to work at that, and I'm still not. I kind of give up when it comes to buying clothes for my wife, because I'm going to get it wrong. But at least I try, But it's something that you have to work on. And boy, when you do, it's a pretty cool feeling. I mean, whether you're what spouse, what gender you are, doesn't really matter. But when we pay attention to our spouses. But thanks for that, Kristen. I appreciate it.
I just want to jump in for 2 seconds, Joe, and just say you're giving the message of she matters.
Right. Exactly.
That's really what that message is that she matters to you, because I teach a lot about lopsided relationships and people not feeling like they matter. So just super kudos, bro.
Yeah. And isn't that what Christmas is about? Isn't Christmas, Joe is so ready to jump in on this, but isn't that what Christmas is about, right? Christmas is all about saying you matter.
Yeah.
But we get it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
When I give a gift, that immediately says you matter if I put thought into that gift. But we're like, if the gift isn't perfect, then I blew it. And I think somewhere in this talk, I think we need to jump into expectations. I think that's the biggest problem with our holidays turning into HoliDAZE is our expectations.
Yep. Just one last thing on lists is not only have these been great tips that are very practical and easy to do, but I got to tell you, on the years when I actually did submit to this idea of creating a list, I would put it on the list, and then I would lose the list. Where did the list go? I didn't know where it was.
Right.
So my favorite bumper sticker is I finally got my act together. I just forgot where I put it, and that's kind of like the Christmas for me at times. So the nice thing about mobile devices now is that, as they both have said, you can put it on your phone and you can edit it on the fly, and it's always available. You're not going to lose that, because I can lose pretty much anything in my life, but I always know where my phone is. Well, not all.
That's what I like about the lists on the phone, because I'm the same way, Joe. I didn't do lists because I couldn't find my list, and I need to have a list for my lists were. But on my phone, I know. And now today, I still can't find it on my phone, but now they got search options, so you can just search in. So if you title it well, then I'm the same way. Yep.
Yeah, and to Steve's point as well, which I think is illustrated this way on the recipient end of a gift that was actually something I really wanted, and maybe I didn't even say it, right? How much more meaningful is that than getting a generic gift, even if a generic gift is way more valuable in terms of dollar value, but I never asked for it. I don't really want it. It's nice. I got a pony, but I wanted a dog. Like, thank you. But I didn't say I wanted a puppy, and I got a puppy, and it's the kind of puppy I like, because somebody overheard a conversation that wasn't even about what I want for Christmas. That says, you matter, right? You matter so much that I was paying attention to what you're saying. And I delivered a gift that came, so it's a surprise gift. And, when I was a kid, you never knew what was under the tree. And so you're always trying to sneak and shake the box and rattle it and see if you can figure out what it was. And that was some of the joy of the anticipation. But, when you get overwhelmed with all of the Christmas requires and all the holidays require, and then you're just buying stuff online because you have to get the gifts bought, then it takes the fun out of it for everybody. It takes the fun out of it for you as the giver, and also the person that's the receiver. Like, I'm going to get another gift card instead of something that I would really enjoy. Yeah, Kristen. I
love that. Well, that's just our little code for. Yeah. Okay, but I didn't want to cut you off.
No, bring it in.
I was, as we're talking about this, about simplifying and making it easier, because there's so much more to do. That's what I said earlier. It's just all the extras. There's so many extras. There's more parties. There's more functions. All kinds of things. I really want to introduce the idea, if people aren't already thinking of this, of releasing perfection, which I touched on briefly.
Yeah.
Because so many times, and I know this with a lot of women, they want the perfect tree with the perfect bulbs and everything matches and all of this, and the food is perfect, everything's timed perfectly and everything, blah, blah. And there's a lot of control in that. And I say this with so much love in my heart, not to call anybody to the, carpet or anything like that, but just, if you're someone who's listening to this and you're like, yeah, that's kind of me, like I want everything to be perfect, please understand that it's the feeling of the holidays that people love. That's the whole reason why people love Christmas. It's the lights, it's the music, it's the joy, it's the happiness. No one's going to remember that you had the perfect eggplant casserole or whatever you're making. No one's going to be like, back in 2006, there was, Sue made that amazing casserole. They might, but that's not really what makes it for them. So I also wanted to introduce the idea of divvying up tasks and responsibilities, because the people that are often the ones that are overdoing and they're trying to make everything perfect, they are taking on everything themselves because they do want it just so. So I just want to encourage people to release the need for perfection. If someone wraps the gifts for you and they forgot a bow, it's okay. If someone made the eggplant, I don't know why I keep saying eggplant, I keep meaning green bean, made the stuffing and it's not perfect, that's okay. Right. Whatever it is, let it be okay, but be willing to give people, this is your job, this is your job, this is your job, because people do like to help. And we've talked about this before, that we find a lot of joy in giving. We find so much joy in giving, and people showing up with their favorite green bean casserole, that means something to them, or saying, what would you like to bring, or whatever it might be. I just really, when I released, I was really kind of a perfectionist in my 20s. Like I wanted to make my life perfect. I'm not anymore by even remotely close to being a perfectionist. But that was one of the things I had to learn, is that I couldn't do it all, and it's okay if I didn't do it all.
Yeah. Two thoughts came to mind. One is this, everybody thinks, especially this time of year, that sharing is caring. You see this in the bell ringers, right? The Salvation Army, it's right on their kettles. Sharing is caring. But usually we interpret that naturally as, if I give my money, if I share my money, then I'm caring for somebody. And that is true. But when I was hearing you talk about share the load, this is for the first time I made the association between sharing is caring, is when I ask someone to help me share the load, that's actually a caring thing to do. And there's a false narrative inside each of us that says, if I ask somebody for help, then I'm needy, or they're not going to like it, or they're going to regret it, or, that somehow that's not a sharing thing. But that's actually called sharing the load. Right. And when you share the load, that's actually an act of caring for somebody, because you're giving them the gift of trust. I trust you to help me. And by the way, when you tell somebody I need your help, that's a gift.
Yeah.
We resist that so much inside of us because we're too proud to ask for help. But it turns out when I'm on the receiving end and somebody says, hey, Joe, I can't do this alone. Can you help me? I'm like, of course. I'm so glad you asked, because how else would I know? So I just want to encourage people, as Kristen was saying, that really realize that when you see the bell ringers and the Salvation Army people outside the store, and you see that kettle that says sharing is caring, it's a reminder that, you can share your money and you can share your time and you can do stuff for other people, but also share the load. That is a gift. I never thought.
And when someone asks me to help them, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel valuable. And one of my pet peeves, Kristen, Joe, I need to call it another word than pet peeve. But one of the things that I'll just use it for now because I can't think of another one. But one of my pet peeves is when I ask people if I can help, can I get you something? They say, no, I'm fine. No, I'm fine. And really, they could use a drink of water or whatever, right? Even if they don't need one, just tell me you could. Because I'm asking, and I know I drive my boys nuts, but that's what I love to do. Maybe not everyone is built that way, but I think everyone enjoys sharing the load with someone. So when I ask somebody, like you said, Joe, I thought that was such a great point. When I ask somebody, tell them I need help, that makes them feel good. But also because when I am able to help somebody, that makes me feel valuable. And to piggyback on that, so a couple things that you guys have been saying, I keep coming back to this thing in my head of of, it's first of all, sharing the load. Here's another way too. Like, I can give my spouse this cool present, whatever, and then the kitchen's a mess during the meal or whatever, and I'm letting her clean all the dishes all by herself. It almost, I don't know, maybe I'm being too harsh here, but it almost seems hypocritical to me to, here, babe, here's this gift. I love you so much. Now do clean the rest of the house by yourself. I think when we notice things like that, and sometimes not even with my spouse, but my family, I don't want to get off the couch. I don't want to stop watching the football game and do that. But I promise you, the people at the sink probably don't want to do that either, which leads me into the point that I want to make here, which is there's so many gifts that we can give, and sharing is caring. So, but to just focus on nothing but the present and then snap at people, or, give the gift. It's a season of giving. So give of your time, give of your help, give of your, open the door for somebody that's in a hurry, and they're, when someone opens up the door for you and you're frantic and and it says, hey, pause just for a tenth of a second. I notice you. I see you. You're valuable. So there's so many gifts that we can give, instead of focusing on nothing but the physical gift that I had to make or that I had to purchase. What about just giving, period? Because it's a season of giving. It's not a season of presence, right?
Yes. Well, I'm going to take your last sentence there. It's a season of giving, not a season of presence. However, I would say the greatest gift we can ever give somebody, the greatest present, present we can give anyone is our presence. So yes, it's not a season of presence with a TS, but it is a season of presence, PRESENCE, being there, right? A lot of the things we've said already is about showing up and recognizing that somebody needs something, wants something, and doing that for them because they matter. And that makes us really feel good as well. Talk a lot about this, that Thanksgiving is part of the giving, is the receiving as well. But if we can remember that when the word present comes up, and presents come up all the time in December, that the best gift, the greatest gift, in fact, the gift that most people want more than any other, the best present is our presence, being there with and for someone, all in. You've got my undivided attention, not because I'm so great, but because you're so great. That's why I'm here, because I think you're so great. And man, if you want love, joy, peace, and hope, which are the 4 weeks of Advent that lead up to Christmas, what brings love, joy, peace, and hope more than having someone's undivided attention and care for you, right? Yeah. All right.
Okay.
In fact, so that's kind of my that's my go-to today. I wanted to share. I thought it'd be kind of cool if every one of us could share one hack that we do, that we use, or one hack that's a good hack. How do we keep the days, the DAZE, out of our holidays? And we're being proactive about it, sharing this. I'm loving this. But for me, the thing I was going to mention, Joe, I was thinking about this today, and then even yesterday, thinking about our MDA here. It's what you just said. Only I love the way you said it. Instead of presence with a T, it's a presence with a C. It's my presence. It's that famous, that very popular Maya Angelou quote that just says, don't judge, I'm probably going to butcher it, but don't judge your life by the amount of breaths you take, but judge your life by the amount of breaths, by the amount of moments that take your breath away. So don't judge is that how it goes, right, Kristen? How does it go again?
Something like that. To take your breath away. Yeah.
Don't judge your life on the amount of breaths you take, but on the amount of moments that take your breath away.
Yeah.
When we were talking about the whole release perfection, love that concept. I love those 2 words. They're so easy and they're so spot on. When you look at all the Christmas movies, like Christmas Vacation, right? Or Christmas Story, even better. Why do we love that movie so much? It's full of nothing but blunders and bloopers and mishaps, and nothing is perfect, nothing at all. And we relate to everyone because we grew up in that. And it's who said it? It's the feelings that we get from Christmas. It's the feelings that we get, right? And when we're in the moment, we don't always realize we're in the moment. That's why we need to have Christmas presence. We need to be in the now, in the moment. The thing is that the moments, we don't remember the moments until we're in the future. When we look back on it and realize what a great moment that was. But right now is tomorrow's memory are happening right now. This Christmas right now, we will probably remember this 5-10 years from now, maybe even 1 year from now. So if we're going to enjoy it a couple years down the road, why can't we enjoy it now? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I think the enemy of presence with a C, the enemy of being in the moment, live in the now, the enemy of being there, in my opinion, is stress. It's hurry. It's I got to get this done. And it's the days, the DAZE that we put in the holidays that stop us from enjoying the holidays, right? And so, it's the moments that take our breath away. Those include bad moments too. Those include scary moments too. Those include if someone did show up with an eggplant casserole. That would be a memory, Kristen, that I would have forever, but it would not be a powerful memory. But,
I don't know why I said that.
And, I think sometimes we talk about the mistakes of Christmas, the imperfections of Christmas more than we talk about the perfections. And I think we just have this high bar that no one can ever, Christmas has to be perfect. Let me put it this way. Christmas already is perfect. Be in that.
Yeah. So
Kristen, yes.
This is reminding me of, if I look back on my childhood, it's not, I remember the red fur coat and the white go-go boots I got. I 100% remember
Me
that.
too.
I did. Well, we're kind of the same age, so that was trending. But I remember those things. But what I remember is the whole, like the energy, the whole family sitting around, all of us being in the same room. Because I had there's 5 kids and 2 parents, so there was kind of a big thing. But even still to this day, because we have a big family, because I have all those siblings, they all had kids. We'd all come down to my mother's house, and then there'd be more, other, external people that would come. And we had these huge gatherings. And on Christmas morning, we did a lot of Christmas morning at Mom's house because all the brothers would bring they didn't live in town, so they'd have to bring all the Christmas down. And let me tell you something. The sea of wrapping paper, the can't find stuff because there's, and I'm not joking. I'm talking, 4 feet deep because there's all these people with gifts. Do you know when my kids think back to that, they're not like, remember that Christmas when I got this?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Not once.
Yep.
And the nieces and nephews are saying, they all say the same thing. I miss the gatherings where we were all together. They're all sleeping. My mom had a big room and she would lay out all the grandkids in her room on sleeping bags. So it's her and her husband and the floor of grandkids. Okay.
Love it.
And they remember this stuff. That's what they remember, the holy mess in the kitchen with 45 pancakes, everywhere. This is what they remember.
Yeah.
So this is what I believe about presence, because they're in that, soaking that in. They're soaking in the energy. They're soaking in the love. They're not going to remember that they had the perfect bow on their gift. I promise you. And there's a lot of well-meaning parents out there. So again, I say this with so much love. So many well-meaning parents out there that just want their kids to have the best holidays, and they really want to enjoy. But let's remember what they're really going to remember. Mm-hmm. They're going to remember the feeling. They're going to remember you all sitting under a blanket watching Elf. Because you talk about those other movies, but Elf is my movie. Elf is mine. Yeah. I will watch that thing all year long. They're going to remember when we all used to sit in the same bed. Remember when, those are the things they're going to remember. And I just want to bring this to the topic too, because there's not a lot of people out there that have a lot of money. Okay.
Right.
And holidays come, and that's a source of stress. And now they're like, I can't get Junior what Junior wants. I can't. Well, you can go make experiences. You can go walk around with the $1 hot chocolate from QT, and you can, drive and look at lights and sing some songs. Again, it's not the gifts that is going to make the holidays. It is how you present it to the kids.
So to your point, my grandmother, who was middle income, she was a teacher. She was divorced, but she always made everything about the kids. So we loved going to her place because we knew we are the center of attention in her world. And she had no qualms about that. That was her mission. When you come over, you are the center of the world, right? But at Christmas time, what we knew was that Joey back in the day, was going to get a wrapped can of black olives, pitted black olives, because that was my favorite thing, because I could stick the olives on my fingers and suck them off one at a time, right? And my little brother's going to get a jar of peanut butter, because we didn't get peanut butter very often, but he was getting peanut butter, and it was either the creamy or the chunky or the kind that he liked, the name brand one, not the generic one, right? And my sister was going to get whatever she got. So a tree fully decorated with presents everywhere. What am I looking for? Where's that can of black olives, right? I can't wait.
Amen. Yes.
And I got it every year. I got a can of black olives every year that my grandmother was alive. And I think back over my childhood, and I can name a few of the gifts that I got that were more the impressive ones. But what I do remember is that every year I was going to get a can of black olives, because my grandmother knew that's exactly what I wanted. And it wasn't that I didn't get black olives throughout the year, but there was just something special that, of all these quirky things, my grandmother was going to give me black olives and my brother peanut butter. And my great aunt Shirley would give me soap on a rope. Do I need soap on a rope? Do I want soap on a rope? Do I even know what soap on a rope? How do you even use that? I don't know, but I know that my great aunt's going to give me soap on a rope. And this, honest to God, I have one of the soap on the ropes that my great aunt Shirley gave me years ago. She passed away 10 years ago. She lived to 104, so I think I got like 103 soaps on a rope. I still have one because it ties to the memory of my great aunt Shirley. I didn't want that. I didn't need it. I didn't know how to use it, but I knew that it represented the love and concern and the very specific attention that my great aunt Shirley was given to me. And so soap on a rope, I love it. Don't know how to use it, but I love it because
my brother-in-law bought his son a brand, I should say brand new, of course it's brand new. He bought his son the new Beats headphones, right? Super expensive. They didn't have any boxes to wrap it in, so they wrapped it in a chicken and a biscuit box. When his son...
That's even better, because they don't know what's coming. Exactly. That's even better.
Listen to this. It goes right along with what Joe is saying. When he opened up and got the Beats out, he was disappointed that they weren't chicken and a biscuit.
I rest my case. I'm out of here. I rest.
Exactly.
I'm done.
Done.
Can you imagine? I laugh because I imagine how mad Dad must have been. Like, I paid how many hundreds of dollars for those stupid headphones, right, and I could have bought you a $2 box of crackers, and that would have.
Yeah.
Well, how many parents, and this is like a universal thing, how many parents have had a great gift for their, especially the younger toddlers, and the kids pull the gift open and they play with the bubble wrap and the tissue paper and the cardboard box. They don't even know where the gift went. Hey, thanks for the battleship. Now let's make something out of this box and this bubble wrap, and we'll jump up and down. And I realize as much as ever that what we really want out of life, what we want out of the holidays is the experience, the feeling that we get in the experience, right? And so kids are having a blast with tissue paper, a box, and bubble wrap, even though the toy or the Legos or whatever it is that they got are sitting over there in the corner. Yeah, I'll get to that. But right now I want to have fun. And this to me is fun, right? And that's why we love the Christmas Story, because it's just a crazy family fumbling through the world, but they're having fun. And so we're having fun watching them have fun and realize, you know what, my life's goofy too, but maybe I can find some fun in that. Right?
Right. I shared my little hack on how to keep the days out of our holidays by being in the moment, by being present. I'd like to know what's a hack that you guys have to have some good ones. At least just pick one out, right? But what's a hack that you guys use to keep the days out of your holidays?
Well, I opened with my hacks.
Oh, you already did, huh? Okay.
The whole time I've been hacking.
Hacking up hairballs. Left and
yeah,
right.
I've been hacking this whole time. It's presence too. Yeah, it's absolute presence. It's divvying up the chores and things and making lists and not having perfection.
Yeah.
Just going with the flow. Just enjoy. Don't make such a big deal. Right. It's all okay. Everything's going to get done.
Yeah. Cool. One of the traditions, of course, at Christmas is to light everything. You light the tree, you light the house. I even have little twinkle lights on my car.
Yeah.
But I just got reminded,
me too,
just now, as Kristen was talking about her hacks, that we all need to lighten up. So now when I'm stringing the lights on the Christmas tree, I'm thinking it has to be in the right place, and they are going to work, and did the white lights and the green lights match, and and I'm thinking about how do I get this to be perfect. But I've got these lights in my hand, a string of lights, and they're going to remind me from now on, Joe, lighten up, right? It's not about
Right.
the perfection. Lighten up, enjoy the moment, infuse some fun, right? Stop and do a dance if you need to. And so, and that's a place that's easy for me to go, but I do have to remind myself, because of the pressure and the stress and the expectations, many that I place on myself that aren't even the expectations of others that I assume that they want, right?
Mhm.
But it turns out what they want is they want dad to be happy too.
Yep.
My kids are happy when their dad is happy. So if I'm stressed out about all the things I have to do because Christmas is here, rah, 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 and then I'm that guy downstairs in the Christmas Story coming up with new swear words because the heater's blowing up, my kids aren't having fun, right? And what I want my kids to enjoy Christmas. The only way they're going to enjoy Christmas is if I enjoy Christmas. So I got to lighten up. Every time I light the tree and I light the house and I light my car and I light the next door neighbor's cat on fire, I got to lighten up. No, just kidding about that part. That never happened.
Joseph and I both love Brendan Burchard. Okay. I think Brendan Burchard's such an amazing guy. And I heard him say this once, and I did something similar. So, a lot of times he's validating things I'm doing. I'm like, thanks, Brendan. He said that he has certain things that he does. Like if he gets into a Starbucks line, while he's in the Starbucks line, this is his practice, whatever it might be, meditation, who knows? Okay. How about, this is another fun hack, that every time you get in the car with your kids or someone else, you go, we're listening to Christmas music, whether you like it or not. Because everybody knows it. Next thing you know, that inspires singing, and there's just all this fun. And like, what does Elf say? Like, if you want to bring Christmas cheer, sing a song for all to hear, or something like that, right?
Nailed it.
So,
yeah.
There's little fun things that you can do. So when my mom passed away and the family dismantled, we're so close, but we just don't do all the things anymore. She had cancer, and everybody made a point to come to town because we didn't know when she was going to be done. And but I lost my train of thought about that. But one of the points that I was talking about is that if you can just this is what it was, is making your own traditions. Because that we went from 45 people on Christmas Eve to 10. It got really small, and I said, this is okay. It was weird for us because we had done that for so long, but I was like, this is not going to give me a hitch in my giddy up. We're going to find a way to make this just as loving and fun and whatever, without the 45 people, without the big massive to-do of food and the big bonfire in the backyard. We're going to make our own thing. So we started our own traditions as well. And keep in mind that your kiddos, they're going to like whatever traditions you have, because they came from your heart, they came from love, and they're going to look for like, Mom, are we going to do that thing where we all, trade slippers for the day, or, whatever. They're going to remember those things, because that's the stuff that's going to say, my family, my connection. Yeah. This is what we do. This is what my clan does. And back to the point about Brendan Burchard, come up with something that's just fun for you all. Like every time we go to the mall, we have to wear an ugly sweater. Come up with things that are fun for you.
Yeah, I think traditions happen too. I mean, don't put pressure on yourself either to think we got to come up with family traditions. You already have family traditions. I promise you that. You just don't necessarily know what they are. Some of the best traditions, I was going to say transitions.
Easy
Some
for you
of the
to
best
say.
Traditions. Slow down, Steve. Joe, slow down. Some of the best. You guys light me up. I just telling you what. Talk about lighting things up. You guys light me up. I love doing these talks with you guys. It's just so amazing. Anyway, some of the best traditions just happen naturally. And I, like, my wife one year thought it'd be good to buy the boys pajamas, and so we did that every year. And after a while, we had a tight year. We didn't have the finances, and the truth is the boys never talked about them, so we didn't buy them pajamas. We just didn't. Oh, did we hear about it? Did we hear about it? Because if they don't say a thing,
100%.
all the years we get it for them, but then we didn't, and all of a sudden. So I think you're already doing traditions. I think also, going back to Joe's point, if we're in the presence, CE instead of the presence, TS, right? If we're in the presence, we will notice more of the traditions that we normally do, or notice some of the quirks or some of the things or habits that those around us, those in our family, they like to repeat or they like to do. Being in the moment, you tend to notice the little traditions that you do.
Yeah,
I love that. Yes.
One of our family traditions was to load up everybody in the car, and go to the one particular neighborhood where it's lit up, it's on steroids, and they have to put extra like power boxes into the neighborhood just to keep the electricity flowing through this neighborhood. These are people who've got ridiculous amounts of money, and they just go for it. That's not our neighborhood, but we can go there. We can go drive through it. So we load everybody in the car, and there were years when my girls would not want to go. They would scream, they would holler, they would say this is stupid, and we would basically be fighting the whole time we're going through a neighborhood full of Christmas lights and Christmas carols, and like, we don't want to be here. When can we go? Are we done yet? I have to go to the bathroom. And she spilled on me. She's looking out my window. She's breathing my air. I mean, just
looking out my window.
Yeah, seriously, like just come up with any excuse to say this sucks and we're having a bad time. And so, I mean, that grates on a parent, and you're thinking maybe this isn't the best tradition, right? Maybe this is something we should stop. But the year we didn't do it, what did they ask for? Right. Well, when are we going to go to that neighborhood and see the lights so we can fight with each other? They didn't say that's what I was thinking. Yeah, so we can fight with each other, right? But it's, I mean, I just think that's such a great illustration that the traditions that we have and that we build in the moment, they don't necessarily feel like it, but we are that movie. We're that movie that is playing out in real life. And yes, it's messy because we're human. It's a bunch of imperfect people. What do you expect? You expect perfection out of imperfect people. Of course, you're going to be disappointed. And I think with the last few minutes we have here, I really would like us to dig deep into this, the crisis that happens inside of all of us when our expectations are perfection, but the reality is the opposite. And sometimes we actually take a dive as the holidays come because we can't keep up with the expectations, and we don't have the energy, and we don't have the money, and all this kind of stuff. And so the gap between what we want and expect and what is reality starts to widen during the holidays, which is, I think, exactly what's happening when people just start feel like this is dumb and I hate it and I can't wait till it's over and I wish it never happened, and all the terribly negative things that do bubble up during the holidays because of the gap between our expectations and reality. And Kristen, you got something funny to say. I could see it on your face.
Okay. Some of the best memories are the imperfect ones. So I remember when the kids were little and we'd go get the family photos at Olin Mills or JCPenney's or whatever. And I remember one that my son was just bawling his head off. He would not stop crying. I said, take the picture.
Right.
So we got a picture of me and their dad and my daughter smiling, and he's like, I love looking at that picture.
Right, of course.
Okay. So I just want people to know that let me tell you this time. One time we went all on a trip to Telluride, and I had a great time, but everybody else was like, that was a complete cluster. That's what all the other kids were saying. And I'm like, I don't know why you guys had such a bad time. They're like, this and that and the other. You know what? It's a memory. We keep talking about it.
Right.
Exactly. We keep talking about that trip. Yep. So there's so much fun in the imperfection. Mm-hmm. It's like, when the time that so-and-so didn't get up, or this happened, or the other thing happened, whatever, or the pie went on the ground. Remember that time the pie went on the ground? These are the things that people are like, oh my God, the pie. You know what? Whip out a Dove chocolate and give everybody dessert. Remember that time we had Dove chocolates for dessert because the pie went on the ground?
Right.
These are memories. Don't worry about the perfection. Don't worry about the perfection. This is the fun part of life.
Right. Perfection is and perfection, on the other hand, is the unfun part of life. Perfection just ruins the happy. I should say, expectations of perfection. If something's going to be perfect, let it happen on its own. Just admit it's not going to be perfect, and that's perfect in itself. Go ahead, Joe.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I would say some of this is just a perception shift, right? Find the perfection in the imperfection.
Amen.
If we're going to have expectations of perfection, rather than it being the hallmark Norman Rockwell, everything is on a painting, right? Find the perfection in the imperfection. This is perfectly imperfect because it's hilarious and it's stupid and it's ridiculous. And that's what we're going to remember. And we are making memories together that we're going to talk about for the rest of our lives. And mostly it's going to be the foibles. It's going to be the goof ups. It's going to be the time the tree tipped over. I mean, my sister, who's allergic to cats and trees, is sitting in the chair when she's about 11 in the living room. And the cat runs up the tree and topples the tree over onto her. So now she's trapped under the Christmas tree and the cat, and she's yelling, "Joe, save me, help me," right? And I'm asleep. I'm asleep in my bunk bed. I'm like, what's going on? My sister never asks for help. She's 5 years older. She's the one that takes care of us. She's screaming for help. So I'm like, the house must be on fire. Maybe my sister's on fire. I don't know what's going on. And I race in like, where are you? Where are you? She's screaming. I can't even see her. I'm under the tree. So the tree's toppled down on top of her. The cat's trying to get out, scratching her. And she's having a breakout, of her allergies. And it was an absolute disaster. But it's one of the great stories that we talk about when we get together, right? So in the moment, it's hard to do this, but with a little bit of mind shift, a little bit of attention, even the imperfections you can celebrate as another perfectly imperfect moment. All right, we're making those memories that we're going to talk about for the rest of our life, right?
Amen. So beautiful. And Kelly just said, or the time that I think she meant you couldn't get the tree lights to work. Dad loved putting up the tree. Yeah. It's all these things. It's like, okay, we have a tree that's not lit this year. Remember that year that our tree wouldn't light up? I mean, right. This is the memories. Like she's still remembering that, this is the times.
It's the soap on the rope. Yeah.
And I just want to piggyback on Stevo. And he's like, he gets all lit up talking to us. I mean, I have nothing but joy and fun and my face hurts from smiling from this whole thing because it's just, these type of conversations, even though we're just chatting about the holidays and what to do and some of the hacks, there's so much love and joy in this conversation in and of itself. And this is really taking the time in our busy holiday season and saying, this matters to me. Like, I want to take the time to fill my own cup, and my cup is full when I'm talking to Stevo and MoJOE. Stevo and MoJOE. Am I Kojo? I need it.
Cujo. Don't be Cujo.
I need a new name. Not Cujo.
You're K-bro. You're K-bro.
That I am K-bro. You know what? That's what Joshua Blattman calls me. That's great. Okay. But anyway, it's like taking the time to say, like, do you guys have time? Yeah, I absolutely will have time on Friday. Yeah, you bet I am, because this keeps me high. This keeps me joyful. This keeps me happy. This keeps me present. This, all these type of things. So don't worry about just, even if you need to go to a party and you need to go for 20 minutes and you're like, I want to go, but I really only have 20 minutes. That's okay. Right. Do what you need to do for you, because we get lost in the shuffle. We abandon ourselves in the shuffle of the holiday season. And then we're not enjoying it, and we're not really good for anybody else.
Yeah. And that takes me to something else that I wanted to say too, is that, and the good illustration of it is at the end of Christmas Story, where everything has been a blunder the entire movie, and it's been terrible the entire movie. I want to cry talking about this because it's the feeling that it emotes in me, right? Yeah, there's a surprise, right? No one's cried yet, so we've done pretty well.
You usually cry. No one's crying. Your turn, go.
At the very end, when everyone opened up and you got his Red Ryder Daisy BB gun and everything is finally done, and then the dad finally sits back and she puts a bowling ball on his lap, and he just sits back on the couch. And
we can't hear you.
That moment, he sits back on the couch, right? Just melts into the couch because everything is done. That's the moment, and we don't have to wait until Christmas is done to take that moment. Like you said, when we spend this hour together, what I'm suggesting is that every one of us finds time during the holidays to take a moment like this for yourself, even if it's a sigh. A sigh is a moment. Watch this.
Amen. Yes.
So when the present's not there, when the traffic is nuts, when the line is forever, take a moment, even if it's just, dude, you feel Christmas with those? It keeps the days out, the DAZE out. And I think we need to find time to enjoy the moment, to be in the presence, so that we can enjoy the moment that's going to be a memory next year, tomorrow, whenever.
Yeah, taking a moment. That's so good. I mean, so we talked about the greatest present we give is our presence, but we can give that to ourselves as well, right? Presence means I am present in this moment. I might be with others. I might be alone. I might be with Stevo and Kristen. I might be in a drive or whatever. I might be in that long line Steve's talking about, stuck in traffic, and the store is going to close, and it's the last few items that I need to get, and I'm not going to get it on time, and all of the angst comes up. I can actually give myself the gift, the present of presence, right? Rather than thinking about what has happened, what needs to happen, which is all past and future, come into this moment and give myself the gift of presence. Just be here in this moment. I'm breathing, right? No, nobody's dying. Yes, it's not going to be perfect, but we're going to make some fun memories. And then I'm giving myself the gift of presence, which then, by the way, once I've received that gift, I have something to give away, right? But I do want to say in these last few moments, and those who know me know that, I was raised in church. I know the Bible, and I got a very personal relationship with my Creator. And I think back to the Christmas story, and I think it's been stolen from us. It's been painted over, it's been plasticized and homogenized and turned into a beautiful painting where everything is perfect,
right?
Which is part of this false expectation of Christmas, because we think the first Christmas was perfect. It wasn't. If we were there,
I'm close.
If we were there, we'd realize it was a manger. It was stinky animals. There was
no
place for them to sleep. It was It was a scandal. This lady's an unwed mother. She's pregnant, and in that society, the guy didn't have to marry her because that was infidelity, and that was thought, that's a crime worthy of death almost. And she could have been ostracized, and they have to pay their taxes, right? They're coming to Bethlehem because they have to pay taxes. That's not fun. It's not exciting. And
the last week of her pregnancy is on the back of a donkey going over mountain terrain.
Yes, but I think what helps me remember all this is that it wasn't called Christmas. The first Christmas wasn't called Christmas. It wasn't the cards.
Right.
It wasn't the pictures. It wasn't the movies. All the stuff that we think is Christmas has all been taught to us. The first Christmas was a young lady who wasn't married, and this guy's sticking with her, and they're on a donkey on a long trip, and they can't find a place to sleep, and on and on and on it goes. It's stress in every direction, right? And yet she, with her little bit of faith, but apparently a lot of faith, right, follows through with this miracle, which has changed history, has changed my life, right? And I think if I can just remember that Mary and Joseph and Jesus and the shepherds and the angels, they didn't have a preconceived notion of what Christmas was like. It was unfolding in the moment, and it wasn't called Christmas, and it wasn't a holiday, it wasn't a celebration, it wasn't Hallmark, it was just real life. And it was messy, and it was stressful. And by the way, I think we forget that not long after Jesus was born, they all had to flee for their lives off to a country they'd never lived in before. They had to go to Egypt just to keep from the government killing all the babies, right? To killing their baby. So that it wasn't even like, oh, we finally got to Christmas and the baby's born and now everything's good. Peace on earth, goodwill to men. That's the line we hear. It didn't work that way. Suddenly they get the news. Herod's afraid that this new child's going to usurp his authority, so he's killing all the babies under the age of 2. How horrific is that? In that context, they have to get up as brand new parents and go to a different country, right?
Yeah.
Keep the baby alive. So that it brings some context and some perspective for me to remember what Christmas is all based on has been overpainted in this happy-go-lucky, perfect life, perfect picture that doesn't even represent what originated Christmas in the first place, right?
Well said, Joe.
I know we're almost done, but you are muted on Wisdom.
Oh.
Your microphone is muted. I messaged you, but yeah. Sorry, everybody.
That's all right. So for those that we're on Wisdom, sorry for the mute. I don't know how that happens.
If you can read lips, that's great.
Joe, Wisdom they can't because there's no video. But go ahead.
Said. Max Lucado talks about this very thing. It's one of my favorite quotes for Christmas, and I'd like to read it if I could. It's just a couple of short paragraphs here, but Max Lucado says, "Mary is wide awake. The pain has been eclipsed by wonder. She looks into the face of the baby, her son, her Lord, his Majesty. At this point in history, the human being who best understands who God is and what he is doing is a teenage girl in a smelly stable. She can't take her eyes off of him. Somehow Mary knows she is holding God. She remembers the words of the angel, his kingdom will never end. He looks like anything but a king. His face is prunish and red. His cry, though strong and healthy, is still the helpless and piercing cry of a baby. He is absolutely dependent upon Mary for his well-being, majesty in the midst of the mundane, holiness in the filth of sheep manure and sweat, divinity entering the world on the floor of a stable, through the womb of a teenager, and in the presence of a carpenter.
Wow. Well put, Max Lucado.
Yeah.
Way to go. Thank you for that gift, Stevo. That's so good. I was just introduced to a Dave Matthews Band song. Apparently it's been out for a few years, but I hadn't heard it. Dave Matthews Band did a song called Christmas, the Christmas song. And I was just pulling up the lyrics here. If you haven't heard the song, I highly recommend you Google it. I don't have the link here. Maybe Steve can pull up the link and stick it in the chat. But I'm going to read the lyrics to you real quick before we close here, because it just puts it in a different context and help us understand that the Christmas that we celebrate is based on an imperfect world, the world that's broken, and there's stress in every direction, and yet they celebrate this amazing miracle. So Dave Matthews Band, the Christmas song, it says, she was his girl, he was her boyfriend. She be his wife, take him as her husband. Surprise on the way, any day, one healthy little giggling, dribbling baby boy. The wise men came, 3 made their way to shower him with love while he lay in the hay. Shower him with love, 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 love all around. Not very much of his childhood was known. Kept his mother worried, always out on his own. He met another Mary for a reasonable fee, less than a reputable, as known to be. His heart was full of love, love, love all around. When Jesus Christ was nailed to his tree, he said, "Oh, Daddy-o, I can see how it all soon will be. I came to shed a little light on this darkening scene. Instead, I fear I spilled the blood of my children all around, the blood of our children all around." So the story goes, I'm told, the people he knew were less than golden-hearted, gamblers and robbers, drinkers and jokers, all soul searchers like you and me. Rumors insisted he soon would be, for his deviations, taken into custody by the authorities, less informed than he. Drinkers and jokers, all soul searchers, searching for love, love, love all around. Preparations were made for his celebration day. He said, "Eat this bread and think of it as me. Drink this wine and dream of it will be the blood of our children all around, all around." So Father up above, why in all this hate have you filled me up with love? Love, love is all around. Father up above, why in all this anger have you filled me up with love? Fill me, love, 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 and the blood of your children all around. Woo, that one gets me going. All right, we have certainly overshot our hour. Wait, I can't hear you, Stevo. Are you?
I'm here, man. I'm just in the moment. I'm in the presence. That was.
So I can't tell you people how much I want for you to find peace and love and joy and hope in Christmas. It's there. It's all around, right? It really is a matter of what you pay attention to. It's been said, and I've said it 100 times. I'll say it the rest of my life. You create the world that you pay attention to. So the fact that you're here now means that you're wanting to pay attention to something that will get you out of the temptation to make Christmas about presents with the T and realize it really is about presence with the C. Your presence with yourself, with your family, with your loved ones, with your pets, right? With the craziness that is all around, and with the God who came to this world to show you that love is all around. You just got to look for it. And then when you find it, say thank you, right? If we can live our lives with gratitude and grace, goodness and mercy will follow. And there aren't any gifts any more valuable than those. So as December has rolled upon us, may it not roll over us as we go through this month. And so we hope, Kristen and I and Stevo hope that our words to you and our stories and what we've shared will bring you just a different perspective, another opportunity to say, you know what? Christmas isn't about perfection. It's not about presence with the T. It's about the perfection of the imperfection of my story, being present with myself, with my family, and with the God that loves me so much. So on behalf of Kristen and Happy Life Studio, Stevo Hays, thank you so much, and happy holidays with the YS, not the ZE, to all of you. Love you. Peace out. And peace in, for that matter.